So now we can switch to the things which happened during the interview process. So yes. So could you please tell us a bit about the number of students shortlisted for the interview in your JAF, at least in your JAF?
Yes, yes. So for my job, there were like 9 to 10 people who were shortlisted for the interview, and from that, some of were from BTech, DD, as well as MTech. So for my job, that was the scenario. You can consider 9 to 10 people.
Okay, and there was no PhD students shortlisted for this particular JAF.
For PhD student, they signed a different JAF particularly for them. So in that, you can consider 1 or 2 PhD students in the same profile.
Okay, okay. So in your JAF, 8 to 10 people were there who were shortlisted for the interview.
Yes, correct.
And they were all from electrical or some other branch as well. These 8 to 10
Yeah,
people.
majorly they were from electrical. There were some people from CSRE department also. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the department, the students who would have done extensive, job or work in the area of deep learning and machine learning, they would have got a chance. And like we have
Yes.
already discussed, that in case of researcher, you have to show that you have a very good understanding of deep learning. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think people who are having a very good knowledge of deep learning and ML boss, they would have been considered.
Yes.
Yes. So now, could you please tell us a bit about the interview, and we can start with first this thing that given that this was an online interview, could you please
Hmm.
tell us about the difference? Like you were a part of the placement team last year, so you know how offline interview scenario was, and this time in your case you were attending the interview in online mode. So the difference between these two, online and
Hmm.
offline, and the things
Hmm.
keep in mind while attending online interview, and then we will talk about your experience of interview, then we will talk about that. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel that there was a huge difference in online and offline interviews. So the last year the thing was that ki, you have to be well dressed. But this year also that thing was the same. The main difference was that ki, last year the people who gave the Japanese interviews, they actually recommended to keep some kind of a slides of your projects, that major projects that you have done, so that you can explain the interviewers in a better way. Because the thing is that explaining any project using just words is not a good idea, or you can't basically express all the thoughts that you have in mind. So if you have some format in which you have a block diagram, you have some outputs, so it would be it is helpful to have that kind of things with you. So last year all the seniors that I talked with, so they actually had some kind of a prints, you can say colored prints of their projects that they have done, and they took those things with them in the interview. And this year, what actually the advantage was that we can only have the PPTs that we have already done for the projects, right? So I also kept the presentation ready for that thing, to show them, to present them the things that I have done, just not for the one project, but for multiple projects which are very important. So yeah, so that was one difference. Well, another difference is that the Japanese etiquettes, that the basic thing is that the bowing technique. So if you are giving interview in person, so they actually check how you are walking, how you are bowing, how you are talking, whether you are talking slowly or not, how you are explaining things. So last year it must be quite hard to inculcate those things, as you need to be present in front of them. But this year I think the things were quite you can say easily done. If you have just seen some random videos on YouTube, what are the bowing techniques, what are how to say hi, hello, thank you, how to say sorry, can you please repeat, how to say good morning in Japanese. So all those things were common, but the thing is that body language was not a big part in online interviews, because as you can say, in cameras you can see only the part that is above your torso. So that was a major difference in the offline and online interviews, I think.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Several new things were added in case of online, and because like you mentioned that you have to prepare your slides. This time it was in hard copy format, but this year we can simply share our screen, and we can
Yes.
open the presentation and all these things. So yeah, in case of Japanese firms, it's a really a good idea to show some documentation or some kind of
Yeah.
presentation.
But the most interesting thing happened with me this year was that I asked them whether I can present my project to you through slides or not, but they denied that. They said, no, we don't want to see any presentation. Just tell us in the layman's term. So that was a very hard thing to do for me at the
Okay,
time of interview.
they did not allow you to show any documentation.
No, not at all.
I think in case of Saurabh Suri, while he was attending the Sony Japan interview, so he was able to show his screen and the documentation he could show. Yeah, so again, you should be ready with the documentation. Now it's up to them whether they allow it or not. But you should be ready with the documentation.
Yeah.
And how about accent? Like, did you have any difficulty in understanding their accent, or they had an issue in understanding your accent?
Obviously, so that was a big issue because in offline mode, the thing is that the voice quality, it is much greater than you can hear them in online mode because internet stability is not guaranteed. Even if they are in Japan, there might be the issue with your internet also, right? So in my case, there were some words I could not understand. They were talking, so I have to take some kind of a 1 or 2 seconds of stop. I have to process the things that they are saying. But if you don't understand anything, then you can ask them politely to repeat the things. That is one good thing about them. They don't mind repeating things multiple times. So that is the issue, that you should be attentive of what you are hearing, because the accent that they have, that is very different from the accent that we have, or the general people who speak English that they have. So from my side, the thing was that thing to keep in mind was that to talk very slowly. Right now I'm talking in the normal speed, but while talking in the interview, I was talking very slowly, and there was some kind of a thing that I have to keep in my mind. Don't talk very fast because they won't understand it. So that was a very big thing to. I mean, the viewer should understand that you should talk very slowly. You should be clear with your words, and you should use your hand gestures more often so that they can understand the things. For example, you want to show some kind of a thing with your hand. This thing is here, this thing is here, and all those things. So basically, the important thing is that how your body language is, how you are talking slowly, how you are explaining things in the correct way. Even if you are talking slowly, the important thing is that how you are explaining things, because the thing is that the interviewers might be working in other domain, right? Because deep learning is a very big spectrum, and the work that you are doing might be very different. So it is very important that how you explain things in layman's terms, who know basic deep learning. So that is also one thing. So you should prepare that thing. If possible, you can make a Google Doc, or you can make a presentation. You can present your project to your friends who have some basic idea about deep learning. So that is also a good idea to do, I feel.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You need to know how to present yourself in the interview, and your things should be presentable. Anyone should be able to get an idea of your project.
Correct.
Yeah, you should be able to explain in a very simple language as well. You should know how to do it. Yeah. So yes. So now we can talk about the things which happened during the interview, and the number of rounds, the type of questions. These things you can discuss now.
Yes. So for a Japanese interview, I guess the scenario is almost same for all the companies. So the first interview is, you can say, 70 to 80% is about technical interview, and 20 to 30% it's kind of HR interview, but not particular HR interview. You can get general types of questions in that time scale. So the first interview is, you can consider as a technical interview, which can last for 45 minutes roughly to 60 minutes maximum. And the second interview is the HR interview, which is like around for half an hour. So for my interview, the question started from the introduction of themselves. So there were like 4 to 5 people in my interview. So they introduced themselves first, who are they, in what domain they are working, and then they asked for my introduction. So that's how interview started. And one more important thing, that greetings, right? I told you about the greetings, how to greet them. So yeah, even if you are in the online mode, you need to bow slightly, and you need to say them konnichiwa or konbawa depending upon the timing. So yeah, so from that point also, they actually were impressed, that first thing only. So greetings are very important if you are going for the Japanese interview. So yeah, after that introduction started, I introduced myself. Then they directly jumped on to my resume. I told them that I am doing my master project in that domain. So they looked at that thing. So after that, I asked them whether I can present you my MTP using slides, but they denied. So I had to explain them using layman's terms. So I explained my MTP. After that, they jumped on to my R&D project. I explained them R&D project also. After that, particularly, they were going to my course projects and they were saying, ki, have you actually done those projects or not? Because
Okay.
there were multiple projects, right?
Yeah.
The course project that I have done. So they wanted to check that thing also. But there was one particular project about building the artificial neural networks from scratch using Python. So they actually asked a lot of questions about that project, which was very unexpected for me. But yeah, thankfully I could explain all the things them to them correctly, and you can see that they are actually appreciating because they nod many times, Japanese people, if they agree with you. So that is one more key point to observe. So after that thing, after asking multiple questions about the resumes, so they jumped on ki why do you want to join Hitachi only? So
Yes.
that is a very important question, and this is a company-specific question. So you can't have a general answer for that, right?
Yeah.
Because all the companies are working in multiple domains. So the very first answer that I mean, the basic point which you might find common in all the Japanese companies that you can tell them is that Japan is the world's technological hub. They are working on robotics. They
Mhm.
are the leader in that domain and all that. Blah blah blah. So that is the common thing, common basic thing that you can tell them first. After that, you should jump into the exact research in which they are working. So I told them that I did read the Hitachi's AI blog after shortlisting in your firm. So after that, I told them the different research papers that I have read from that blog. So they were impressed with that. So after that, I told them ki how actually I can use my work in the particular work they are currently doing. So there was a one paper called effective vehicle detection using RGB depth data. So I told them ki how I can implement my MTP's knowledge in that particular research paper, and results might improve. So yeah, so they also like that thing. And so after that, so I would like to suggest that ki, if they will surely ask you ki why you want to join our company. So for that thing, go through the website, go through the research that they are doing, and also the JAP is very important. In the JAP they have mentioned the points, prepare some things about that thing only, about that thing also. So those are the points you should take care before going for any kind of a Japanese interview. So those were the technical points I was asked in my interview.
Yeah. And yeah, so but like homework, we should always do homework before getting interviewed for any particular firm. And like in your case, you did a very good job. I can see that you picked out a paper in which you can show the utility of your MTP, how your
Yes,
MTP knowledge can help to work on that particular project. So I think that is really a very good, very strong way to put your credentials. Like
correct.
you did your MTP, but at the same time you also know how you can use that knowledge to solve their problems or contribute to their projects. So that's what
Yes,
a lot of things. I also find it quite impressive. And I think that's why while researching or while searching internet for any particular firm, you should be very good in those things, that not just finding some keywords like Hitachi does this and this thing, that's why you want to join Hitachi. That might not be a good answer. Rather, you should be very, very specific how your skills can help to drive their goals, to drive their ambitions. So
correct.
those things should definitely be presented. Yeah. So this was the technical round. So there was only one round or two different rounds for there.
Yeah, so in technical round, I forgot to mention they asked some basic questions also, which you might find that they would ask you. They actually asked me that we understand that you have done pretty good work in the deep learning domain, but they asked me that why do you want to join Japan only?
Right.
Because you might have some other opportunities in other countries. So why do you want to join Japan only? So that is also one important question that you should answer correctly, because I have heard from many people that they intend to tell them that I love anime. So that is their basic point to tell. But what I feel that you should tell that point, but that should not be your basic motive, right?
Yes.
So what I told them that again I kind of pitched them like I told them that like ki Japanese work culture is very I mean there are different sides of one coin. Some people think that Japanese work culture is very hectic. Some people think that they love their work too much. So what I see as a Japanese work culture is that other side of the coin. So because what I feel is that they work too much because they love their work. It's not that they are not getting paid for the extra work. They do get paid for the extra work. That's why they work. And there are basically 2 points, right? They love their work as well as they are passionate about their work. So that is the one point told them. Other point was that other point was that the research work that Japanese firms are doing are way ahead than the research work in many other countries are doing. So that is the other point. Other point is that the culture, the sport culture of the Japan. So there are so many sports that there are popular. So for my personal favorite, Japanese people do love football, and one of my favorite player is also playing there. So I told them that thing. I would like to explore that culture. Other point I put ahead was the food culture. The food, being a non-vegetarian, I would like to explore the food culture. Like seafood is very popular in Japan. That was also another point.
Yeah.
And but the last but not the least, I told them that I am a big fan of anime. So so basically this answer I should be the multi-dimensional answer. So it should not be you only love that thing and you want to go there for that thing only.
Yeah, I can see that you have a caricature of Messi behind your on your wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So yes, I am really. I was quite impressed by the way you answered this particular question. Like you explained all these things, be it technology, be it food, be it sports, be it culture, anything. So you touched all the possible aspects, and that make itself a very good reason to join any company, to join any particular nation for that matter.
Correct.
So yes, like the way you answered, I think this should also be a motivation or a lesson for all of our upcoming, students. So they should be very thorough while answering any particular question, and you have to secure all the areas. Like कि मैं answer करूँगा तो मैं हर चीज cover करूँगा और एक solid answer बनाऊँगा.
Hmm.
Definitely, you could come up with a better answer. What Patil did, definitely, और better answer हो सकता है.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
But Saurabh Patil did a very good job while touching all the aspects. And yeah, so I think that is pretty impressive. So okay, so there was only one round in which there were questions from these two aspects, or there were two
Yes.
steps. Okay, only one round.
Yes. That was the first round in which I was asked about all these questions.
Okay.
And the most the thing was that about this interview they do conduct HR round on the same day. And what happened this year was they did not conduct the HR round on the same day, so it was very frustrating for me whether I am selected or not. So they conducted the HR round on the second day, so I had to give the different interviews on the third day also.
Oh yeah, it definitely it might have been very frustrating and stressful time.
Yes.
Yeah. So they conducted the HR round on the day on next day.
Yes, on day 3 they conducted the HR round.
And all the students from the first round, they were asked to attend the HR, or there was some elimination in between.
Yeah, there was elimination. So people who are actually selected are called for the HR round.
Okay. So and then what happened in the HR round? And could you please tell us about that?
So HR round about Japanese people is very different. So basically they actually tell everything about the offer in that round. I mean, what things you will get, the salary structure. So it's like they show that actually you are selected, and they basically indirectly show you the offer letter by their only. These are the things you will get in your compensations, how things are broken up, like HRA it's this much, transport allowance is this much. So those are the things that they show, and there are some basic questions about, again, why do you want to come to Japan, what are your future goals. So these are very basic questions, but after that they actually indirectly give you the offer.
Okay. So that lasted for how much time? 30 minutes?
So yeah, you can say half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay.
And they do ask if you have any questions about the company, about the Japan or anything else, how things work there, etc.
You had any question? You asked any question on this point?
Yeah, I actually had one question I asked them ki currently I am working as a student, but after a few months, if given a chance, I would like to join Hitachi. What would be the things that I should work on so that would be a smoother transition from a student life to the industrial life, you can say. So again, so actually I have made this answer for all the companies. So this answer is very you can say flexible. You can throw in this answer in any kind of HR interview, and probably all they just get impressed with that thing. So this HR also liked this question. So he again, basically after the selection, he again arranged the meeting with all the managers for me, so that they can answer this question. So yeah, so that actually happened in a good way for me.
Yeah, so I think it was a very happy ending.
Yes, yes, correct.
All your hard work and your efforts, they really paid off well, I must say. Yeah, so congratulations for getting selected.
Thank you.
So any advice you would like to give to your upcoming students or your upcoming juniors, whatever?
Yes. So, if you want to go for the researcher profile, it might be any kind of a domain. If you are a pre-final year student, I would like you to suggest that try to publish anything that you are working in a good conference, not just a random conference. Try to publish in a good conference. Work on that. Try to do R&D projects. Try to work on your MTP very hard, and just don't do your MTP on a very basic thing, because the things that currently are going on in the deep learning domain are quite ahead. So you should think ahead and try to do something new in your MTP. So yeah, those are the things that I would like to suggest.
Yeah, definitely. ठीक है. Yeah, so I guess we have discussed all the things which happened during the interview process. So yeah, so I guess then we can conclude this session. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudhakar. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.